Hi, it's Kat from Elevate, my channel where we talk about regaining ourselves after toxic relationships and our self-love and self-esteem. Today's topic is going to be being honest with yourself. And this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately. I feel like being honest with yourself is the key to self-awareness as well as the key to having really authentic and healthy relationships. So I'll just say I do believe that narcissists and toxic people are not honest with themselves. They're also not honest with you. They can't be honest with you because they're not honest with themselves. And so it's almost like a cycle of dishonesty and a fantasy. And I know that narcissists and codependents can also share a fantasy. Like Sam Vaknin did a video about that shared fantasy. And I think it's interesting to hear that they can both want to believe or delude themselves through dishonesty and denial, because it's all based upon dishonesty and denial, and the idea of we're both going to pretend and act like this is a healthy relationship when it's not. So there's this kind of collusion of a shared fantasy. The codependent is thinking, I'm helping this person get better or healthy. And the narcissistic person or toxic person is like, I'm going to use this other person for whatever I can and pretend like I care and pretend like I love this person and use this person. So they're both kind of like pretending in different ways, and so in some ways both parties have a part. So if you're involved with someone who's toxic or narcissistic and you are continuing, it's an issue because you are participating. You are staying, right? And that's the issue, is that you're not realizing you're participating, you're part, you're actually colluding in this shared fantasy of this is a real relationship that's going to go somewhere. You're lying to yourself, they're lying to you, they're lying to themselves. So there's so much denial, there's layers of denial, there are so many layers where we're just not being in touch with reality or accepting reality for what it is. And we don't want to see it. We don't want to let go of the fantasy. We want to believe the dream. We want to believe that this was supposed to be whatever it was supposed to be. But I just think that people need to realize, if you're staying and participating and you continue to let this person into your life over and over again, then you are in fact partially to blame, because you're continuing. It's a collusion between two people to continue this facade, right? Because it's a facade. Like, once you know that this person doesn't actually respect you, doesn't love you, doesn't actually want a real future with you, then you know all you need to know. It's time for you to exit that situation. So if you don't, you know, leave, then you're actually agreeing to participate. I know it's hard. I know the trauma bond is really hard. I know it's so hard to break that and to get away and to leave for good. But if you don't, it's just going to be suffering for you. And it's going to be something that doesn't end. And it does hurt to break the bond, but it hurts more if you stay and you continue to be abused. So I hope this video helped you today about being honest with yourself and being honest with others. Don't expect the narcissist to do that, because they're not going to have that level of self-awareness that you may have as a codependent, let's say, or someone on the other side of a toxic relationship. They're not, the toxic person and the narcissist is never going to tell you the truth. And one thing people will get stuck on is they will constantly try to get the narcissist to admit mistakes or admit that they were wrong or see that they were wrong. And so the other partner will try to explain and explain and explain and ask questions and try to, you know, help the narcissistic person or toxic person to get to a place where they'll admit and see the light, let's say, and maybe even apologize and say, I'm sorry, yes, I see now how I hurt you. It's never going to happen with a narcissist or a toxic person. It's never going to happen. So you have to cut your losses and you have to understand that this is how that person is built. They're built to deceive. They deceive themselves and you. But you're also deceiving yourself if you keep this going and you keep continuing in the situation. So try to think about what's healthy for you going forward and understand that you need to get real on what's going to be the best path for you. And they may never understand. Most likely they'll never understand what they did to you. They'll never understand how it hurt you. And that's okay. There's nothing you can do about that. You have no control over that. You have to accept you have no control. So I hope this helped you, and I'll see you next time.